Hey everybody, it's Leslie Tagorda here, your brand astrologer and designer. And today we're going to be talking all about passionate Leo season. We'll also be covering the full moon in Aquarius and how you need to call up your inner rebel. Whether or not you have strong Leo in your brand, it's in your chart somewhere, and you need this passionate energy to show up vibrantly in your brand so you can shine brighter. Before we shine the light on all things Leo, I wanted to share a lovely testimonial that I received from a special client. Steph Gaudreau, a certified intuitive eating counselor, left an amazing testimonial for me after we had a most amazing Astrobrand session. She says, Leslie, you're amazing at what you do. Please keep shining your light for others. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Steph. I really appreciate everything that you do and that you share. And for everyone here, if you haven't already, catch Steph's amazing podcast, Listen to Your Body. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider leaving me a rating and review on either Apple Podcasts or Stitcher. Your rating and review enables this podcast to be found by more listeners like you. All right, so who here is so excited about Leo season, right? Today, I really wanted to go through everything about Leo season because whether or not you love Leos or hate Leos, or if you fall somewhere in between, we all have Leo energy in our charts. And this is the place in our chart, in our business, in our brand, where we need to amp up the joyfulness, the passion, the purpose. At its core, it's really important to remember that Leo needs to operate from this place of joy, right? Open heartedness, loving life, loving creativity, having fun, being confident. That's number one, joy. Number two, Leo has to feel that it's likable and lovable, right? That it's this shining bright, this bright spotlight of excitedness, of confidence, and just expressing yourself. That's why it's so important in our brand. And the third key of Leo is its confidence, right? Confidence comes from its ability to have fun and to have play and to just really bring all of the laughter and spontaneity to its work. It's important to remember that we all have Leo somewhere in our charts. And wherever we have Leo in our charts, we are being asked to show up with those crucial three Leo keys of joy, lovability, and confidence, right? We can also look at this as creativity, passion, and purpose. So I want you to hit pause and I want you to go check out your chart. And I want you to go look at the cusp lines and to find out which cusp to which house Leo is on. Now, if you need a refresher or need to learn how to read your natal chart for business, I have an inexpensive 4-part training on my website at thesavvyluminary.com/challenge, and it'll show you how to read each of your cusps, and then you can then learn where Leo is in your chart. You can imagine that shining brighter in your business has everything to do with your visibility, right? How your brand is perceived, who your brand is known to. Now, not all of our businesses are meant to be like these ultra luminary, bright in the limelight brands. In fact, there are many, many businesses and successful businesses that their brand is fine-tuned to shine its light only in the very kind of private places under the covers, as I was mentioning earlier. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, am I never going to be successful because I can't shine brightly, or I don't want to, I have an aversion to shining brightly, don't worry. There's lots of ways to express your Leo in your chart. Now, because the sun also rules Leo, your sun is going to give you insight to what lights you up, right? If Leo on the cusp of a house in your chart tells us where you need to shine brightly, your sun sign is going to tell you exactly what lights you up. And again, next week, we'll be discussing how to tap into your sun's superpowers so that you can shine more brightly in your brand. But for right now, we'll just talk about Leo on the cusp, house by house. So let's go through Leo on each of the house cusps. If you go to thesavvyluminary.com and you go to the show notes, you'll be able to find all of these Leo on the cusps typed out for you. So if you have Leo as your rising sign or on the first house cusp, you are supposed to be bringing in more joy, passion, and purpose in your brand identity and leadership role. You are just like the ultimate king or queen in your world. Many of the English royalty, the Queen's family, have Leo risings. Coincidence? If you have Leo on your second house, you are meant to bring more joy, passion, and purpose in your contributions, your values, and your ability to earn money. Bring in that passion for money and no apologies there. If you have Leo on the third house, you are meant to bring in more joy, more passion, more purpose in your communications and marketing style. I personally have Leo on the third house, and oh my goodness, once I really figured out how to put that Leo filter in my communications, things really started to take off. When I really put my full-hearted, bold, confident style of communicating, this is when things really aligned for me. If you have Leo on the fourth house, this is interesting because fourth house is a very private place, right? So here, you're supposed to bring in more joy, passion, and purpose in your safe spaces. And if you have a home office, which you probably do since most of us are still sheltering in place, you're supposed to be bringing more passion into your home office or in your private life with your family and your closest friend circle. If you have Leo in your fifth house, oh goodness, you're supposed to bring in more joy, passion, and purpose in all of your creative pursuits and make use of that playtime. Passionate playtime is so important for you. I'm going to let you define how you want with that passionate playtime. You know, it's important. Don't deny it. If you have Leo on the sixth house, you're supposed to bring in more joy and passion and purpose in your ability to serve others and with your daily routines. My favorite president, Barack Obama, has Leo on his sixth house of civic duty. And my goodness, did he bring joy to his presidential role. If you have Leo on the seventh house, you're supposed to bring in more joy, passion, and purpose into your collaborations and your co-creations. So this is all about relationships, relationships to your ideal customers, to your vendors. You know, you bring the passion when it comes to co-creating. If you have Leo in your eighth house, you're meant to bring more joy, passion, and purpose into your ability to regenerate and cultivate return on investments, right? So thinking about how creative and how confident can you be when learning to use other people's money to grow your business. If you have Leo on your ninth house cusp, you are meant to bring in more joy, passion, and purpose in your higher and continued learning and teaching. Anything that's going to help you expand your mind, expand your belief system, or help others expand their minds and belief systems. If you have Leo on your 10th house cusp, also known as your midheaven, you are here to bring in more joy, passion, and purpose in the way that you are visible in the world and how you deliver your offering. This is a very good placement if you have an offering that serves an elite set of customers. If you have Leo on the 11th house cusp. You are meant to bring in more joy, passion, and purpose in the way that you participate in your larger community and groups. Passionate podcaster, passionate luminary, what have you? And if you have Leo on your 12th house cusp, you are meant to bring in more joy, passion, and purpose in the way that you relax and take time off. Yes, retreat is so important for you. So, how do you feel about embracing Leo in your brand? Do you understand where you need to show up and shine on? All right, let's talk about the full moon in Aquarius. Full moon in Aquarius happens on Monday, August 3rd at 8:59 a.m. Pacific, 11:59 a.m. Eastern. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know that full moons are when the moon and the sun are opposite in the sky. The full moon in Aquarius is receiving and illuminated by the full light of the Leo sun. And it's a time in the lunar cycle when we're meant to let go and to forgive so that we can, take the time to prune things to get ready for the next cycle, which is harvest. If we're holding on to too many things, right, we can't put all of our energy and our attention into every little bit. So we have to prune, we have to forgive, we have to release, we have to let go so that all of our energy can focus in on what really is going to make an impact. So with Aquarius full moon, Aquarius is the inner rebel. It's the revolutionary. It's the most futuristic sign of all of the zodiacs. And it really has a humanitarian and social purpose, right? And that purpose is really important because without a purpose, an Aquarius can just be a rebel without a cause, just rebelling to not go with the status quo, which, yes, sometimes that's really, really important. But with today's social climate, we are here to make an impact. We are here to be part of the revolution and to make a social change for a more just and equitable future. And so here comes full moon in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius's ruler, Uranus, is forming a T-square to both the moon and the sun. So if the moon and the sun are in oppositions, making a straight line, then we have Uranus right at the tippy top, making a square. So we have, if you look at the chart, I have a chart, a screenshot for you available on the show notes for today's episode on the Savvy Luminary, but you'll see a triangle. And Uranus is the ruler, one of the co-rulers of Aquarius. It is a collective planet and it's in Taurus right now. And it's showing us that we need to take a next step towards environmental causes to sustainability. I know you already are a forward thinker. Most entrepreneurs always have something that they're creating new that might not be typical or may not be traditional or might be just like so out of the ordinary that people right now need a lot of catching up to do. So if you find yourself as one of these kind of revolutionary Aquarian energies, you don't have to be an Aquarius to have this kind of energy where your ideas might seem a little bit too far out or too weird or too wacky or too futuristic, too innovative, whatever too you want to add to it, right? I want you to use this full moon time to release those ideas and release those beliefs that the world is not yet ready for what you have. I know that you have a purpose to create your ideal future. I see you and I hear you. I've been watching you, right? I know that you're already a few steps ahead. So use this full moon to release all of those conditionings and bring your steps back here on earth because we are ready for your revolutionary ideas if we are going to be moving us into the future. I highly recommend doing a full moon release ritual. I love doing full moon release rituals with groups. Just kind of amps up the power when we're all together in a circle. And in these rituals, I would love for you to use the element of air for Aquarius and the element of fire for Leo. I want you to release ideas that make you feel that you don't belong, right? Because Aquarius, like I said, can be the rebel. Sometimes it feels like an outsider. And so if you have any of those kinds of feelings, I want you to get deep with that and see if that resonates with you. And if that's true, that energy is no longer serving you. So I know you're here to make an impact and to move mountains. So let go of all of that extra baggage during this full moon in Aquarius. So remember, when you're doing a release and forgiveness ritual, release what's holding you back. Forgive yourself or others that you feel have been holding you back. Thank what you're letting go of, acknowledge it for maybe keeping you safe or protecting you from something, or normally our fears are just a safety mechanism that we've learned over the years, right? And then I want you to let it go. Before we move into the astrology of the upcoming week, I wanted to let you know there are several ways to work with me. Of course, you can join my free Facebook group, The Savvy Luminary. If you're an entrepreneur that loves using astrology, you are welcome. Come join us at The Savvy Luminary on Facebook. If you want to download worksheets and access a printable calendar, we also even have an ICS calendar that you can download into your Google or Outlook or Mac calendars digitally. Head over to patreon.com/The Savvy Luminary, where you can get not only these calendars, you can get replays of premium workshops, and also at the highest level, you can get access to that training that I mentioned earlier, how to read your natal chart for business. Now, if you want to really unlock your highest potentials, why don't you grab an Astrobrand reading with me? You can buy them in sets of one or multiple, depending on what you want to accomplish. Next up is I have a membership called Luminary Rising. And in August, we are going to be taking a deep dive into our sun signs. We're going to be really learning how to radiate our superpowers and gain confidence in our work so we can shine brighter in our brands. You can find all of these links on my show notes at thesavvyluminary.com. That's all I have for now. Next week, we'll be talking all about our sun sign and how we integrate our sun into our brand so that we can radiate our superpowers with confidence. If you want to join us for the month of August in my membership, Luminary Rising, we're going to be chipping away at our sun sign and getting really clear about exactly what our strengths are, what we do so well, and how do we express that so that we can live and lead with confidence in our brand. All right, until next week. Mahalo for listening to this brand new podcast. If you enjoyed learning about astrology for entrepreneurs, help me spread the word by sharing this podcast with your business besties, and hop over to The Savvy Luminary for links to episode notes and our free Facebook community where you can send me questions about astrology or branding, as well as connect with other like-minded businesses.